right, we're going to talk about Syria. We're not going to talk about the situation in Syria, but what we can learn from this situation. This is your favorite half Chinese. So, we have been told for many, many years, 20 plus years, that we are in a war against terrorism. And now I'm looking at our news outlets and they are glorifying a terrorist cell that has invaded and overthrown the legitimate government of Syria. Something which we sometimes say goes against our values, which I also always find hard to believe, since we, as a NATO state, are always into overthrowing other governments all over the world. It's what we do. But we are also against, or we also in a war against terrorism. So I find it weird that all of a sudden we are glorifying terrorists. We are openly saying that THS or whatever it was is an Al-Qaeda cell. So nobody can say that it is not true. But somehow we have no problem with them. Why? Because they did something that we liked. That's very interesting. They gave also another pretext for the neighboring country with the blue and white flag to get into Syria and grab their land, as they did for Turkey. And nobody says anything. But it is a problem when Russia is getting into Ukraine. But our NATO states and allies invading another nation and taking their land is okay, because they say we must protect ourselves against terrorists. The same group of terrorists that we now, or the United States at least, and then the NATO states will follow, want to take off the terrorist list, an Al-Qaeda cell. What? Do we see what's going on here? I'm going to tell you another story about that. So ETIM is a well-known terrorist organization who was responsible for thousands of attacks in China. They also fight alongside Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Trump took them off the terrorist list while they were still on the international terrorist list. You have to think about it. The reasoning behind it was because they're fighting against China and against the government of Syria. So I wonder, how do you fight a war against terrorism if you keep taking these terrorists off your terrorist list and you have no problem with them? You are actually glorifying them. I wonder also, and I think that people should start to really look into it, and especially the people who are trained in the army, etc. I have a little task for you guys. I want you to look at the weapons, I want you to look at the clothing, and I want you to wonder one thing: where did they get it from? Then I want you to look how they are handling their attire and weapons, and I want you to analyze who trained them. It is beyond me if people are not going to start and wake up now. So all these years we have been telling the rest of the world that Muslims are the problem because of these terrorist organizations. But if we now closely analyze, it looks like they are not taking orders from Muslims. I think that's another thing that we should think about. Because every time when we want to invade another nation, they pop up over everywhere. And giving the NATO states the pretext to move in and invade a nation and destroy it. It happens a lot, doesn't it? We should think about it. We should also think about, why is this Al-Qaeda not doing anything against the country with the blue-white flag? And I'm not saying they have to, but what I'm saying is it's quite odd if they are saying that they are fighting for Muslims, that they are not helping their Muslim brothers who are now being under attack by that same country, but actually is helping that country to invade another country. Isn't that weird? These are things that people should start to think about, because it's so obvious. And you should think about your government and your media. First, they are teaching you to hate these terrorist groups, and now they're teaching you to love them. What is it exactly they want? Something in your head must be saying, this is contradicting too much. Something fishy is going on. And that's just what I'm going to ask from people, and do the homework in your head yourself. I'm not going to give any answers. I think it is pretty clear. I think people, when they're watching my content, will understand me perfectly and will understand directly what I mean. For the others who are new, this is your homework. And let me know in the comment section what your findings is, but keep it respectful so your post can be seen and you will not become a barbarian like Al-Qaeda and its cohorts, right? We should start to think about, and these kind of things, this is not about whether you like Assad or don't like Assad or this or that, right? This is about just training your mind into thinking like what is really going on. Because we have had a couple of attacks ourselves from Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and we should think about that. Who really gave those orders? Because it gave pretext for a lot of other things. And now again, because the land with the blue and white flag is also still attacking Syria, because there's a terrorist organization there. Do we see this whole conflict in their reasoning? Do we all see the contradiction? So I hope that people will just sit down, get rid of your biases. We went into Syria because of them, right? At that time, many years ago. And now we are glorifying them, and the United States is thinking of taking them off the terrorist list, while they are the vanguard of the war against terrorism. I just wonder, are these people really Islamic terrorists, or are they a proxy? I'm not making any statements, but these things keep me awake at night. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it, because it's another sensitive topic. And I really want people to answer me in the comment section about it. But keep it respectful, keep it decent, keep it educational, so people have something about it. Let's do some brainstorming together. That would be great. Because many people in the West have a lack of brain practices. That's not your fault, by the way, but that is why I will start to fight against that. We need to start a war on brainwashing by our mainstream media. I need people to see this very, very obvious contradiction, right? One day, Al-Qaeda is in Syria. We say we must destroy Syria because of that. The other day, these same terrorists are being glorified and called rebels and our friends, and even thinking of taking them off the terrorist list. And it doesn't strike anybody as very, very odd. Anyway, I leave it at this. This was your favorite half Chinese. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. You should be ashamed if you haven't followed yet. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Have a great day.